All right, thank you everyone for joining me today. I'm going to go ahead and get started, 12:03 Central Time. Thank you for joining today for Wrangle That Sheet. I'm going to show you how to make Revit sheet layouts easily using the CTC tool set that ATG USA offers. If you have any questions, feel free to type up in the Q&A or even the chat. I have both windows open. If I see it during the presentation, I might answer it right then, or I might wait till the end of the presentation. But feel free to ask any questions you might have on the tools I'm going to cover today. I do like to just tell you a little bit about myself as we get started. I've been in the business for 22 years. Came to ATG about 2 years ago through a program they started called Team Augmentation. And what that means is that I get to work with architects all over the US with their projects. I can bring my expertise to your firm and help you out with BIM models, construction documents, creating BIM families or renderings, a lot of stuff that ATG does that I get to be a part of. We have a full AEC team, so not just architects, but if you need help with mechanical, electrical, plumbing, civil, structural, we have AEC team members on board that come with that experience, something like 560 years of combined experience with all of our AEC technicians. Is what we're titled. But with that experience, of course, as an architect, the stuff I'm going to show you today are tools that I use with my clients working through ATG. And with these tools, of course, it all comes down to time. You know, where if we spend the money on these tools, getting that return on the investment, how much time are we going to save using these tools? And just, you know, how easy are they going to be to use and to teach? So hopefully you'll see that with my demo today, how easy they are to use and how much time it will save you with that production. I also like to mention that I am working exclusively on a BIM box. These are workstations designed specifically for Revit. ATG does sell these, and we have an exclusive relationship with BIMbox. If your firm is looking for a new Revit computer workstation, maybe rendering in-house, different things you might need for a new computer, definitely contact us. Let you know that you want to schedule a demonstration. This is the fastest computer I've ever worked on personally. It's amazing. I can run Revit and Inkscape and then Zoom with a client and be rendering and changing materials and doing walkthroughs on the models all simultaneously. It's a pretty impressive machine. So definitely if you're needing to upgrade your equipment, let us know. Contact us at atgusa.com. Let us know that you're or your sales rep, and let us know that you're wanting to see a demonstration of this product. Pretty amazing computer. Well, we've got several people joining us today, so I'm just going to keep on rolling right in. Definitely the course description kind of says it all. You know, we want to be able to produce sheets. We got to produce views, put all those views on the sheets, get them straightened up, handle the renumbering of those views, and then handling any revisions to those sheets, and being able to do all those various tasks through Revit, of course, is doable. I mean, it's something that is built into Revit, but the workflow, you know, having to jump between your project browsers, your view creator, pull down on your ribbon, having to go through those different tasks can definitely be time consuming of trying to, you know, trying to go to that next workflow task. And with these tools I'm going to show you today, let's see if I can get to that. We're going to take a look at View Creator, View Aligner, Renumbering, and Revisions. Of these tools, Renumbering and View Aligner are actually free tools, and View Creator and Revisions are premium tools. And when I share my screen and show you how these are laid out, all the CTC tool sets have 14-day trials, so you can download those, try them out. During the 14 days, you can try all the tools. After the 14 days, the premium tools, of course, stop working, but you can still continue to use the free tools. And that's one of the cool things about the trial, is that you can try both workflows and see which ones you like. But as for the premium tools, they wouldn't be premium if they weren't great tools. So you're going to get a lot of use out of the premium tools. The first one we're going to take a look at is the View Creator. And really, I'm not going to death by PowerPoint we're not going to do this whole presentation in PowerPoint. I'm actually going to Revit, show you how these tools work, but I kind of want to lead you up into what the different tool sets are, since we're going to be covering 4 different tools today. The first one is View Creator, and I'm going to use it to create not only new sheets, but I'm going to use it to create some duplicate views, so we can throw some identical views on other sheets and align those. View Creator in and of itself is a great tool for, at the very start of your project, creating new elevations, creating new levels, creating the plans from those levels. It's a great tool for starting out your project. But on the flip side, it's also a great tool for managing your project during that project process, because it has a view template management in it, to where you can manage all the view templates and all your views from one location without having to jump back and forth between your views and assigning new view templates. So great tool. We're not going to get to cover all of those tabs that you see there today. We're going to primarily talk about duplicate views and creating sheets, but you can definitely download the trial, check it out if you want to see more information on View Creator. The next tool that we're going to take a look at is View Aligner. So once we create the sheets and we duplicate our views, our section views, and put them on a sheet, we need to get those aligned up very quickly and easily. View Aligner is a new tool that just came out in the 2021 CTC tool set. And it, again, is just a very easy tool to use. It just self-explanatory. It's letting you very quickly align your tools, or align your views, excuse me. The third tool we're going to take a look at is renumbering. So once we place those views on a sheet, we're going to need a way to quickly renumber all those views without having to double click on each one or go to our project properties or browser properties to change those numbers. Renumbering not only does detail numbers, which is the only one we're going to look at today, but it also renumbers rooms, areas, spaces, doors, grids, and then general marks as they relate to typically windows, furniture marks, equipment marks, and then allow you to renumber those very quickly. Today, though, we're just going to look at detail numbers. And then lastly, Revision Manager. This is a really great tool for at the project closeout. You're going through your revisions. Maybe you've done your FF&E. You're trying to cut some elements in your project, do revisions to sheets, clean up, permit comments, things like that you need to add your revisions to. The current out-of-the-box process for changing revisions on sheets in Revit is kind of painful, because you have to either go to each individual sheet view and assign a revision to that sheet, or add clouds to that sheet to get a revision to show up in your sheet title block. But with a Revision Manager, we can very quickly add revisions to multiple sheets at once throughout our whole project, and then assign those revisions to different revision sequences. So that's a great tool as well to speed up that process of closing out your projects. And so we're going to assign some revisions to our sheets that we've created in our views. So I'll show you how that works. And let's jump right into it. I'm going to flip screens here and get over to our CTC tools. Up here at the top, we have our different suites. We have a BIM batch suite, BIM manager suite, and a BIM project suite. I'm going to go ahead, one thing too, I'm going to go ahead and turn off my screen just to speed up this distraction process here. So all you're having to worry about is what's on the screen. Of these suites, we're going to cover primarily the project suite is where the tools we're looking at today: Renumbering, View Aligner, Revision Manager, and View Creator. Of the project suite itself is primarily production for your draftsmen or project managers, project architects as you work in your BIM model. These are going to be primarily production tools. BIM Batch Suite and BIM Manager Suite, pretty kind of self-explanatory. It's the BIM Manager level. These tools are going to allow you to do some project cleanup, whether it be parameters in the project, dimensions, imports and links, even families. So you can get down in deep with your family checking for errors and parameter issues, batching, processing, plotting and exporting, processing projects, exporting, importing families. So again, these suites are more BIM manager level. And if you want to see a demo on these for your firm, definitely, again, contact atgusa.com and we can get a demo scheduled for those tools. Today, again, we're looking primarily at project suite. I'm going to go ahead and first thing we need to do, now this is one of our sample projects. This is actually the CTC headquarters in Minneapolis. And I'm just going to, just so you can kind of see what we're dealing with, let's go ahead and flip through to the 3D view. Just want to kind of show you the building layout so you kind of get a sense of what we're dealing with. It's actually a fairly large building. So we do have two wings. We have our two plan regions, excuse me, we have a plan region A and B. And that's relevant because when we get to the view creator, we can actually create different plan region views and duplicate those. But today, looking at production, we need to create a new sheet for our project to put our new wall sections on. This may be part of your production as you're working on your project. Hey, we need to generate a new sheet. We've got to create some new details to throw in that sheet. Then we have to align them, straighten them up, and renumber them. So I'm just going to work through this process using these tools. With Sheets and Title Blocks tab under View Creator, the cool thing about this tool is that not only can I add just an individual sheet. So if we do wall sections, you know, and call it, let's see what our next, like A405 or A405, excuse me, I can assign the specific border I want. And then this is what's defaulted in here, 34 by 44. But if I had different sheet templates in here loaded into the project, I would be able to check box the ones I would want. But just by filling out the name, typing in the number, I can process that and add a new sheet. It just automatically created a new sheet for me. Now, the other thing I like about this tool is that I can also add multiple sheets. So if, for example, we get our consultant list from Civil or MEP, maybe they're still working within AutoCAD, but we need to reference their sheets in our project. Well, I'm typing this now, but let's say, for example, that they send us an emailed us a sheet, a list. I could actually copy paste those and do that into this spot. But for now, let's just say, you know, I'm just typing this in and then hit OK. It's going to automatically create those sheets down here on the list, put in my sheet number, and very quickly you can see how you could, especially with a copy paste, create multiple sheets very quickly at once. But let's go back and look at our sections. We need to do our wall sections. I'm going to go ahead and jump out of this view, open up my wall section sheet that we created. Let's collapse all those. I don't know why they're all sticking up like that. That's kind of annoying. There's my new sheet, wall sections. Go back to my view creator. What I need to do is create some new section views. Now, in your project, you may have already created your views, you know, from doing section cuts, elevation, so on and so forth. But in this sense, for this demo, I'm going to take existing sections, wall sections that we already have in our project. I'm going to duplicate all of them, and then put them on a sheet. And this could apply to sections or plans or, details or elevations, anything that you think that you would need to duplicate those views. View Creator will let you duplicate it. So here's my list of all the views in my project. And what I want to do is I just want my sections. And you can see I've got a couple here that I'm going to go through and check box. And these are just going to be duplicates of my existing sections. This is just for this example demo, this webinar I'm doing to show you how it can duplicate. I'm going to call those, prefix them as new, so I know, what those differences are, what the new sections are called. If I didn't put a prefix or a suffix and it created new views, it would do this, parentheses 1, close, parentheses 2 to designate the new views. I can duplicate with detailing if I want to copy the notes over from the existing sections, or as a dependent. In this case, I just want brand new views. I'm duplicating them, but I'm going to do something completely different with them. Maybe assign a different template, do some changes to the sections, show them differently, course, change the detailing. So I just want duplicate. I want one of each. That's perfectly fine for this webinar, and create duplicate views. So very quickly, you can see how fast that created 10 duplicate views using this tool. And that's awesome, because here's the traditional workflow, right? We got to go to here, got to go to our wall section. We got to go to our view. You have to right click, you have to left click, then you have to select what you want. And now you have to do that with each view. Using this tool very quickly, I created these new views. So now I'm just going to let's just start dragging them over here. And then, as we arrange, our views, the typical, architectural workflow is, we design our building, cut our elevation, start working on our design. And hopefully, as you're designing your building, you're kind of thinking through that construction process of where am I going to need sections? Where are my materials changing, so on and so forth. And you kind of have to go through and reassign, your views and create those views. But then they just get dropped on a sheet. Hey, we're going to put them on here for reference, but we're going to come back later, add our annotations, add our dimensions. And so when we get back to that sheet, now we've got to spend the time to clean it up. Now, the other thing I noticed, let's see, is that may not have a template. Yeah, so these don't even have templates assigned correctly. Let's go back to, this is a very cool part of View Creator. Something I didn't plan on, but this is really cool. View templates allows us to very quickly and easily manage our view templates. On the left are all of our views that do not have a template assigned to them. On our right are our view templates. I'm going to minimize this till I get to my sections, just so we can kind of just focus on our sections. So those wall sections I just made, some of them did not have the proper template assigned to it. So I'm going to select all the new ones I just created, left click, drag them over to wall section, and apply changes. Now all of those wall sections are going to have the correct template assigned to them. So when I go back over to my sheet, they should be they should have the scales all mixed up a little differently than what we had before. Maybe we don't want that scale. Maybe we need a smaller scale for the sheet, and that's fine too. But we can go in, because it is all the same sheet now. I can just change the template. And again, this is just for this example, because we do want to be able to see our sections so we can get them lined up. So you can kind of see I've got them kind of all over the place here. So the next thing we want to look at of the tool sets is our View Creator, or View Aligner, excuse me. But let me go ahead and change those one more time. I'm trying to get them, this for wall sections, an 1/8 is not ideal, but I just want to be able to get them on a sheet for now so you can kind of see how these all line up. So my typical workflow using the View Aligner is I'm going to I'll start, I'll kind of start my my rows in my column just to kind of get them where I want them to be, especially if I need that to be at the bottom. And once you get that initial row column set up using View Aligner, I can come in here. View Aligner has several different ways you can align. You can align top, middle, bottom by horizontal, or left, middle, right, vertical. And then my favorite when doing sections and elevations is the align by level. So I can actually click that, select my primary section that I'm going to be aligning with, and then select the other sections that are going to align with that first one. Right click, cancel, hit the next one. Right click, cancel, hit the next one. Now I can go ahead and start aligning by the center. And again, once you kind of get used to the click process and aligning those, getting those lined up properly, you can see where that would be very easy to get lined up. Now, this is especially a great tool for your door details, window details. You have all those head, jamb, sill details that you need to align. This can very quickly get those lined up. Again, this was a new tool. This is one of the free tools. The lightly colored button, again, are the free tools that are available with the 14-day trial, or that are available after the 14-day trial. The darker buttons are the premium tools, and those are available during the trial, but then if you don't have a subscription, you can't use those any longer. So let's go ahead. I'm going to roll into the next one. Now that we have created our sheet, we've created our views, and we've aligned them. Now let's go ahead and renumber them, because we've got these numbers all over the place, and we need to get those renumbered. Renumbering, again, is one of the tools I use on a weekly basis with my projects, because there's so many tabs, things you can renumber under this one tool. Rooms, areas, spaces, doors, grids, detail numbers is what we're going to look at here in the moment, and general notes like marks. With detail numbers, and all of these tabs have pretty much the same setup. You have a prefix, a separator suffix, and then in the middle, you tell it what you want to start the sequence with. The key to using this tool is selecting the auto swap, and by auto swapping the detail number, you're not going to get the typical Revit error of you have a duplicate number, especially when it comes to rooms and doors. What it does is it auto swaps it with that other item, that other Revit family, and changes it, or view. So I'm going to start with 1 and just start renumbering. Let me zoom in so you can kind of see this work. And all it takes is for me to click on the view to change it. Now, I do like also the fact that this is such a flexible tool, because I have worked with other clients, specifically Corps of Engineer, and one of the gentlemen wanted the Lieutenant Colonel wanted the numbering to be kind of like a grid system. So we actually had to do numbers and suffixes as they went through, grid-like, I guess is the best way to call it. So we had 1A up here at the top. So 1A, 1B, 1C. And then we had to go to 2A. And again, if you have a lot of detail views on one sheet, this is a very helpful tool to make that happen. But you can see the flexibility of the renumbering, how flexible this really is. And even if I didn't want to start at 1, maybe I wanted to start at 100, or whatever your client is needing for that renumbering system, with this tool you can match it. Or it can be constant suffix as well. So if I wanted all of the first row to be A's, so 1A, 2A, 3A, it would do that as well. Just depends on how you want to number it. So now we've renumbered it. We've aligned our views, we've renumbered the views, and now we need to work on our revisions. These are all new drawings or all new views. We need to issue some revisions to the sheet. And each firm kind of has its own workflow when it comes to revisions. And that could be, if we create a new revision and you want to manage those revisions, it would be through your revision manager, and you would have your sequences set up for the revision number. And if you were doing a whole sheet, I've worked at firms where this has been their standard. Hey, let's do this. We'll cloud that, add our tag. And once you tag it, then of course it shows up in your title block if your firm's parameters are set up this particular way. The other way to do it would be to cloud each individual sorry, as I'm talking, as I'm thinking here, cloud each individual detail, which can get a little messy if you're kind of messing with that workflow. And then of course you've got where you have to create your revision sequencing, whether it's per project, per sheet, so on and so forth. There's a variety of workflows to make your revisions stay on the sheet. If you don't create a cloud and trying to get your revision onto the sheet without having to put clouds all over the place, there's really not, that I'm aware of. Now, I'm happy to admit I learn something new in Revit every week, even as long as I've been doing it. I'm not aware of there being a workflow to where we can make a number show up without having to draw something in the sheet and assign a revision to that to get it to pop up in here as that revision parameter. So with this CTC tool of Revision Manager, that kind of blows that out of the window. And that's what I love about this tool, is that I can assign revisions to my sheets without having to draw revision clouds on it. And I'm going to open this up, my Revision Manager. If I want to go to the default, the out of the box Revit revision command controls, I can hit this and go to it here. But you can see on this tab, I have sheets and revisions, and these are all the sheets in my project, even the ones I just created recently that don't have any revisions yet. And then on the right, you can see our revision sequences. If there's a checkbox without the cell being shaded, that means that that sheet has been assigned to that sequence number without there being a revision cloud on the sheet. If you see a filled in cell, then that means that sheet has a revision cloud actually physically drawn on the sheet, which therefore assigns that revision number to it. And the great thing about this tool is that I can come in here, because maybe all these mechanical sheets that we just did, excuse me, let me get a drink, were added in revision 4. And then we also know that our wall section sheet that we just created was also added in revision 4. So by checkboxing those, I can hit apply, and I'm going to minimize it. Whoop, wrong minimize. There we go. You can see that if I go to my sheet, I now have that revision assigned to the sheet that we just created without having to draw a revision cloud on it. Now, if I did draw a revision cloud, let's say that maybe we change these later on down the line. Maybe some more some code reviews came back. Whoop, wrong button. Code reviews came back. Stairwell had to change. Maybe we had to cloud and change the stair. So what we'd need to do then is we'd need to create a new sequence. We could call it code. Code review, code changes. And then if we just wanted to call out the individual item, that was changed, then of course we can do that here. And then it'll still show up on our sheet. But when you reissue a whole sheet, being able to just assign that specific revision to that sheet is huge. That's a huge time saver. And it just makes it easy to manage as well. Now you can also take a look over here. This other tab in Revision Manager is a really cool feature in that it shows me my revision clouds in my whole project. It's going to show me all my revision clouds, every single one that's been put in, and the description that's assigned to it. But you can hide those revision clouds if you want. So if you do create some clouds and you need to hide them, you can mark it, hidden, checkbox it. Very cool feature too, to manage all of your revision clouds. You can save your settings or even load settings. So if you save default settings for a project, you can save and reload those settings. Let's see, we got something in chat. Does Renumber allow you to renumber by column row numbering A1, C1, E1? Let's see, I can go back to that because I think we're getting close. I think I've covered all of the various tools that we were going to cover today, but I do want to mention too that on all the CTC tools, before I get to Marvin's question here, or is he already? I can't tell if he's already gone. I think he's already gone. Is that if you try these tools out up here at the top, it has help and support and about, but the thing I love is the video button, because if you click on video, it's actually going to take you to the YouTube and let you watch some videos about that specific tool. So you can kind of learn more about it, dig in a little deeper, more than what I've covered today, of course, in our demonstration in our webinar. So let's see. Let me look at, Marvin asked, does Renumber allow you to renumber by column row renumbering A1, C1, E1? Let me see if I understand what he means. A1, C1, E1. I mean, is that, oh, like reversing it maybe. Maybe that's what he means. Let's try that out. I think he means just by reversing the numbers. So if we do A1, whoop, nope, and I'm under room number. Make sure we do that right. Start sequence with A1, auto swap. Yep, A1, A2, A3. I think this is what he was asking, but since he's not with us any longer, B1, B2, B3. So again, very flexible with the renumbering system, whether you use numbers or letters. Go ahead and show you too I love the room numbering and the doors. As an architect, this is a huge time saver. I know this is kind of getting off of our setting up sheets, but since I'm in the tool, renumbering is one of those tools that I hear from everybody that they use all the time because of the time it saves. So if I go to rooms and zoom in so you can see some of my rooms, and we want to renumber with 200, for example, then just by clicking on it, or maybe I messed up and I want to start here, 200, 201, 202, 203. And then of course we have doors. So let's renumber some doors real quick. Doors is great because I can do sequence-based numbering. Again, with working with military, sometimes that they have requested sequential based door numbering, so they can actually have a count of the number of doors. So 1 to 100, for example. Or as an architect, we like to use to room from room. So if I were to select to room from room, let's do that. and that, and see how it automatically changes it to the room number. Or if I add a new door and add a new number, I don't want a leader, let's just add a tag. And then I come back to my sequence, I can do letters, where if I want numbers, very cool. I love that. That's as an architect, that's a huge time saver of having to renumber. And then let me do grids. I'm going to do grids real quick here because the grid renumbering is huge too. And when I show this off, I always get the oohs and ahs because grids have always been in Revit a huge pain point of having to, renumber our grids because of the fact that we can't trick Revit into letting us do it. We can't have duplicate grid names. And so we have to almost double our work. We have to do this, in order to do our renumbering. And it's just always been a pain to have to do that. And it's time consuming, especially if you have a large project, 100+ grids all over the place. Pain to have to renumber and reletter grids. So with this tool, I can tell it what I want to start with. And the key again is checkboxing the auto swap number. There's some other options. I can change this to maintain like characters, sequence constants with the suffixes. But in this case, I just want to reletter them. I just need to change those out. So by doing that, you can see over here, it just automatically swaps those numbers out or the letters out as I click on them. Very, very cool tool to work on. Let's see. I appreciate all you guys joining me today. Definitely any other questions on renumbering, view aligner, revision manager, or view creator. 4 tools that definitely can help speed up your production process when creating new views, creating new sheets, placing those views on sheets and aligning them, and then renumbering those views. I think all that work that I just did, if I hadn't been talking for the past 45 minutes, that production work could have been done probably with under 5 minutes of production work of creating 9 new views, new sheets, renumbering, and view aligning them just by using those 4 tools. Let me go ahead and switch back over. I do want to thank everyone for joining me today. If you have any questions, comments, definitely contact us at ATG USA. You can check us out on LinkedIn and YouTube. If you are interested in getting the CTC tools and trying them out, definitely contact us as well. Contact your software seller with ATG, or if we're not your software seller, contact us. We'd be happy to give you some prices on our software. And thank you again. I want to wish everyone a happy week. Stay safe. And thank you for joining me.